Hey guys, it's Jenny. Welcome back to the Bookworms Buddy. So it is time for Tuesday Talks, and Tuesday Talks is a group that I started with my friend Janelle over at Mrs. J. Rod's Reads, and each Tuesday we discuss book-related topics, and I will link to that group in the description box below, and you guys can go check that out. So this week's discussion is on what are some of your favorite Halloween reads. And this is always a fun one for me because you guys know me in spook season and I love scary books and I love being scared if that's possible. So I've picked some really good books here to share with you guys and recommend as well. So let's get started. The first one we've got here is Dracula by Bram Stoker. It was a couple years ago, I think, that I read this one for spook season. And it was a group read. One thing that you have to take into consideration with this book is it does get a little lengthy and wordy, and there are parts that are a little bit boring, but when you get to those great parts, they are great. The imagery of the castle and everything is fantastic in this book and very, very creepy. So it is definitely worth the read. I really enjoyed reading this book. I don't know if I would read it again because, you know, it did drag in some parts, so not sure if I would read it again, but it was worth the read the first time that I read it. These next two are by my favorite author, and you guys know that it's Stephen King, and you guys know the first one, It, by Stephen King. This is a fantastic book, and I just can't say enough about it. I know there's people that I know that didn't really care for it, but then there's a lot more people that really did enjoy it. Stephen King is just a master at storytelling. He's a master of creating characters and, you know, plots and twists, and he's just really good at what he does. This book right here covers a lot of different things. It covers our fears, it covers friendships, it covers coming of age. I mean, there's just all kinds of stuff in this story, and of course there's the creepy clown, Pennywise, and it is so worth the read. It is a big book. I'm not going to lie, it's a big book, but the difference between this and this is that it seems like there's a lot more that goes on in this one. So, yeah, it's a book that you have to experience and go into it rather blindly. I feel like if you're going into a book blindly, you pay attention more to detail of the story, and this is definitely one that you need to pick up during spook season. The other one by Stephen King that I chose was Salem's Lot. I had forgotten how much I enjoyed this book the first time I read it, which was probably about 15 years ago, and I just did a buddy read with Janelle on this book right here, and it was fantastic. I rated it 5 stars. So I really enjoyed this one. If you like vampires, then you're probably going to really love this one. This is a story about a author who goes back to the town of Salem's Lot where he was from as a boy, and he was pretty scarred from something that he had witnessed and something that was weighing on his mind that he needed to come to terms with. So he went back and he was writing a book. And then things just start happening, and they become well aware of vampires that are in this town, and that's pretty much the story. I'm not going to tell you anything else, but yes, it's a fantastic story. So if you like Stephen King and you haven't read it, then pick it up. If you like vampire stories, definitely pick it up because this is written very well. The next book here I read last year and absolutely loved it, and that was Bird Box by Josh Malerman. This book was wow, and I actually think I read this in a day too because I just could not put the book down. I hear it's going to be a movie. I'm not for sure on that. It just was hearsay. I don't know how true it is, but this book is fantastic. You've got this town, and there's something out there, some kind of being or something that makes people go stir crazy, and they end up going and killing people and eventually killing themselves. And so this woman's got her 2 kids, and they stay blindfolded, and the story goes from there. I'm not going to say anything else because it starts to give too much away. But this one was so good. I could not even imagine putting myself in her place, because it's just creepy and you don't know what is going to happen. And just definitely pick this up. It's a quick read. It's not even very long. It's only, what's this got? 262 pages. So, I mean, yeah. Pick it up, read it. You will not be sorry. And then I have one last one that should definitely be read around spook season, or part of them. And that is Edgar Allan Poe's Complete Tales and Poems. He, to me, has probably been the best horror writer of his time. It's tales or poems, or if it's a story or a book or whatever. You all probably know my favorite is The Raven. I also like Annabelle Lee, The Telltale Heart. I mean, there's just a ton of them in here that I've not even read yet and I need to read. So this one is just definitely a book you should pick up and at least read a tale each spook season. Or maybe 2 or 3, because they are just written so well and really just creeps you out. Edgar Allan Poe had a great talent, and I'm so glad that I have this book, and I really need to get down to reading some more of these. So those are some of the favorites that I like to read around this time of year. I don't read them every year, but I've read them at least, well, except for Edgar Allan Poe. I generally read something of his this time of year. If you've read any of these books, let me know and we'll talk about it, or if you have any recommendations for me. But that's it for me, guys. Thanks for staying tuned, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.